You're listening to Decaf, a weekly podcast by the Beacon Center of Tennessee. I'm Taylor, and I'm joined again this week by Mark Cunningham. He took a week off last week, but he's back. Welcome. Thanks for joining me.
Glad to be here, Sarah Koenig. You sound just like her.
I do sound like Sarah Koenig. I always take that as a compliment. So the first thing we're going to get into today is where we are right now. If you're watching, you'll notice that we are not in our office. We are at Make Ready, which is across the street from the office in the bottom level of the Noel Hotel. If you didn't know Make Ready was here, you would miss it when you're walking by.
If you're blind, I mean, it's really easy to see.
Well,
There's
I
a
didn't
big
see
sign.
it for months after I first started, and then we discovered it when around Christmas. We were looking for this hidden bar.
Yeah, so right over here, you can't see, so I don't know why I'm pointing, but right over to my left, there is a hidden bar that they kind of changed based on the season. It was a Christmas bar, and it was really cool. They had Christmas drinks, they had eggnog with alcohol, obviously.
Yes.
So, I mean, it was a great time.
It was decorated almost like an 80s Stranger Things kind of Christmas thing, and when you walk through the entryway, even now, they've got these cool kind of trippy fiber optic purple lights and mirrors that makes you feel like you're in the upside down on Stranger Things.
Was there still weird animals in there or
yes,
not?
there's like crazy things. It's decorated fun.
It feels like a cult. Like if you were going to have a cult session, it would be in there.
Right, it would be in there, but they don't do that here.
No.
Sure.
Make Ready, no, well, we don't know, but
don't know.
I think Make Ready does not do that.
But we do love it here. If you're ever in downtown Nashville, you should certainly check it out. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They have a cheeseburger that I probably eat once a week. It's super unhealthy, but I love it.
And it's from 3 to 5. It's $5.
Yes.
And it's like really good. And you get beers, and they have my favorite
fries. The
and they
fries
have
are amazing.
Their beer is so good too. They have my favorite beer, the Lovebird, which is a jackalope beer, and it's incredible. So come here, and remember they made us our own mixed drinks.
Yeah. So I kind of told the guy what I wanted to have, and he made me this crazy like beer kombucha cocktail just because we were sitting at the bar being friends with them, and that's why we got here. We told them what we do. We told them about our shows that we record, and they said, "Why don't you come record here?" And so they brought us out a pot of coffee, and now we're sitting here drinking coffee. And Mark bought a T-shirt. You can't see it,
wait, hold on. I'm gonna.
Turn model. Here's our Make Ready shirt. If you're listening, you can't see it, so you should get on Facebook and watch. But they're not even paying us to do this.
No, they're not paying us $1.
Yeah, we're just their cheerleaders.
They did give us free coffee, so I mean that's worth something.
Yeah,
it's like $12.
But we're like their free unofficial cheerleaders. It's kind of a scary thought.
And biggest fans.
Yeah, biggest fans.
Would you want us representing you in public?
I'm not sure.
I wouldn't. I for sure wouldn't.
Well, I mean, we are on a podcast for Beacon right now, so we kind of are representing Beacon in public. So
that's fair. The Jazz have asked me to stop talking about them. Like, look, we know you love the Jazz, but please stop.
Please leave
you're
us
too
alone.
much. Yes.
But again, if you're ever in downtown Nashville, and if you're ever in downtown Nashville on a Thursday and want to come listen to us record the podcast, feel free. We have coffee and jokes, and
I think jokes is stretching it, but yeah, we do have coffee.
And we're fun to be around. But we love it here. I personally, what's your favorite order here?
Oh man, I think I like the bacon cheeseburger. And the cool thing is we're at Make Ready, but we're also going to go to different places. It's not going to be at Make Ready every week. We're going to hopefully have some other bars and restaurants around Nashville. I mean, obviously we live in a very cool city, and a lot of people who watch the show or listen to the podcast don't live in Nashville, so it'll give them kind of a taste of what we get to experience every day.
And we'll give it a review. So I give Make Ready an A+.
A+, whoa, I'll say A. I don't. That's a weird grading scale.
I love it here. I love it. Okay.
Oh, buzzer.
We've been buzzed. We're moving on to the next topic.
You do get buzzed here.
So now from talking about Make Ready to talking about actual policy things, we're going to talk about scooters right now. Mark informed me just this morning that one of the Nashville council members wants to ban scooters. Now, a lot of people are moving from Chicago and Illinois to Nashville, and Chicago's trying to ban scooters. I don't know why we want to be more like Chicago. Sounds like a really bad idea to me, but I am going to protest the ban of scooters.
How are you going to protest?
I don't know, but I'm going to figure it out. This is my declaration of my protest.
Sounds like a really effective protest to me. So one of the cool things is that this is a place where we probably disagree a little bit.
Yes.
Normally we're on the same. Well, we're on this different page and all kind of. But on policy we're normally on the same page. This is a tough one for me. I just feel like you have a lot. I mean, you had somebody get hit by scooters all the time, and people they're in the middle of the sidewalks, in the street. So I do feel like we need something to punish those people who are not following the rules, whether they're leaving the scooters in the middle of the street.
But that would be me.
Yeah, but all the way, it's like like people leave them literally in the yellow lines, like right in the middle of the streets.
Cool.
I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And sometimes you see them like, how did somebody even get here? It's like there's a homeless park. Like, how did the scooter get there? There's something in the river. It's like, did you stop here? Like, I don't understand how they get to those places.
I mean, I'm borderline pro scooter greater anarchy, but I do understand that there need to be some safety measures. But I don't think banning, I mean, I always say that, and this is so lame, and this is why I don't make up like commercial jingles, but like scooters are the perfect intersection of a ton of fun and free markets and freedom, and then there you have scooters. That's why I don't make up commercial jingles.
You should not talk at all, really.
Yeah, I agree, honestly. But I don't think that banning scooters is the solution.
I agree. And the councilman who did it is Steve Glover, who's supposed to be the most conservative Republican member of the city council. And I mean, this is super anti-freedom to say, you know what, we don't like this, so let's ban it. We're going to ban it completely.
Innovation that has popped up in all these big cities across the United States. People love scooters. It creates jobs.
And what are you talking about? What are you going to ban next? Airbnb? Let's ban. They're already trying to. Let's ban Uber. I mean, you're banning these things that are making it easier. And we have an issue with traffic in Nashville. That's the whole reason that, and we fought against the transit plan because it was terrible.
Right.
It was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, agreed.
And I've watched Geely. But it was a really terrible thing. And this is a way to let people affordably get around the city. It's like, if I want to go a mile, I don't want to drive. So you're actually making, but at the same time, the conservative or whatever councilor wants to ban them completely. That doesn't make any sense.
I don't really understand the reason behind it. I mean, just because a good thing is getting on your nerves doesn't mean that you need to ban it.
I would ban you if I could.
And I would ban you.
Yeah, well,
cheers. Well, you don't have a coffee mug, but
that's not helpful.
Cheers to all of you out there to banning Mark. But if we start banning everything that gets on our nerves, everything that causes a problem, I mean, traffic gets on my nerves. I admitted last week that the only thing that rivals my love of freedom is my road rage. Like, if we ban everything that gets on our nerves, where will we be?
I'm surprised you can see over the wheel. Do you have to have a booster seat for that too, or is that?
The joke. Oh, okay. I got cut off. I was about to explain myself, but I got cut off. Dang it. Okay. So our next thing that we are going to talk about is congressional pay raises. A lot of you who are listening out there probably don't follow the same political nerdy stuff that I do on Twitter, but my Twitter is currently full of commentary on The Bachelorette and the congressional pay raises, specifically Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Did I say her name right?
You did the second time you did. That's why you say AOC, because you don't know how to pronounce words. I get it, yeah.
But she spoke up the other day. Someone caught her outside the Capitol building and asked her about these congressional pay raises. Now, as background, she's currently making $174,000, according to the article that I read, and wants to up her salary by over $4,000, which isn't a big raise, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, but it is a pay raise when the congressional approval rating is really low. And one of her reasons behind that she said to this reporter was, well, you know, when you pay our elected officials more, they won't be as corrupt. They won't have to turn to lobbyists to make extra money, or they won't have to do things and use their political capital once they retire from their public office to make more money. I think that is the most bogus thing I have ever heard.
Well, the thing is, what about the Nashville City Council? I mean, they're more or less useless. I think that's a fair way to I mean, that's being really nice to them. So we have the worst city council ever, and they're making $15,000 a year. I don't want to give them pay raises for just being the absolute worst. And that's what Ocasio-Cortez, and just maybe a little more background, is like, there's going to be a bill that would give every member of Congress a pay raise. Is that right?
Right. Even though she said it's, quote, it's not even like a raise. Okay. Well, it is. If you're making more money, it's a raise. And if you're, this is what I wish, and Mark is technically my boss, and so I'm going to start lobbying for this live on the air. I wish that we could vote on our own pay raises.
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could get not even like a raise of $5,000. Yeah. I mean, if it's not a raise, tell Justin that.
Yeah, if it's not a raise, maybe
just pay me. Yeah. $5,000. And the thing is, they get a lot of other. I mean, they make all this money, and they get a bunch of other perks, right? Like they get apartments in D.C. They get all kinds of free food, flights to
wherever.
Israel. I mean, that's just a weird. I think people go to Israel. I mean, that seems like something that happens. Okay.
Fake news.
Yeah, and our mayor got to fly all these places and then sleep with their bodyguard there. So that's a really fun.
So as we're to get back on topic, if we're going to talk about giving our elected officials pay raises, we have to talk about what they're doing, not only to deserve them, but the fact that this is coming out of taxpayer money. And so when debt is growing and growing and growing, and nothing actually meaningful is getting done, and all they're doing is arguing about wedge issues, why on earth are we going to give them more money?
I have an idea. What if we did their constituents get to vote? If they have over 70% approval rating, then they can get a raise. If they have under 30%, they get fired. Or they have to give all our money back. Smart. I just thought of an idea.
I mean, that's highly technical, and that might, end up costing more money because of election costs. But
we can kick out bad people.
The concept.
Yeah, I think if you have to have some kind of
we got buzzed. All right, we're done with that one. Last topic that we're going to talk about is Bonnaroo, CMA Fest. So we've ranted about a few things that have brought people into Nashville. The first one was NFL Draft. That was infuriating. Then
again, which we liked, we just don't like giving them tax dollars.
Right, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, so giving them tax dollars.
I met Patrick Mahomes, by the way, the quarterback of the Chiefs. I don't even know what that means. He was the MVP of the NFL. I got to meet him downtown. I got a picture with him and everything.
If he didn't play for the University of Alabama Crimson Tide, don't care.
He's too good. He's too good for that. I think that's the reason why.
Moving on.
Texas Tech.
We had we talked about CMA Fest last week, and then this week is Bonnaroo. Now, typically, I can kind of be like an old person and rant about all these youngins coming into the city and causing traffic, but I think Bonnaroo is pretty cool, and Cardi B is going to be there. Now, I know Mark, he does not think that Cardi B is a role model. I agree, she's not going to be my role model.
Or talented.
But last year, she issued a big-time rant, laced with expletives, which I don't agree with, but a big-time rant about income taxes and how she did not know where her tax money was going. And she said, Uncle Sam, where is my money going? And honestly, that was the only time that I've ever really related to Cardi B, but I was feeling that.
We live a very similar life, me and Cardi B, so I get it, her a lot. But here's the other question.
You heard it here first.
So there's these sin tax, right? So you pay extra money for like cigarettes, I guess gambling, marijuana and stuff. Do because she used to be a stripper. I don't know if you know this. She used to be an exotic dancer. I want to be. Well, do you have to pay more money as like an exotic dancer? Because like that's a sin tax, right? Do they when they pay their taxes, they have to pay more, or is it just the people who frequent the clubs?
I'm really happy to say that I don't know the answer to that question, and I don't want to address anything like that.
It's a fair question, but
it's a fair question. But I do understand where she's coming from when we talk about income taxes and where is our money going. She was kind of ranting about things that don't really fall under the umbrella
the economic freedom umbrella.
Well, no, the umbrella of like where your federal income tax goes. She's talking about a lot of things that were specific to New York, but it is a fair point when we talk about where is our money going? We talk about it a lot. We just talked about it with congressional pay raises. We talk about corporate welfare. We talk about how money goes to schools that need to be improved. I mean, what next?
I do have a question too. We always talk about how these millionaires and billionaires are making too much money, and it always seems to be people like Cardi B or other people. Like, why don't we talk about how much we pay them for stuff?
I know.
Like, what is she worth? She's literally
worth a lot.
And how much talent does she has? About as much as me. You heard me sing Nickelback this morning. I'm pretty good.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mark drove me to work this morning, and Nickelback was on the radio,
and I sang it
so
well.
Bad.
Yeah, I was not great, but like I don't get her talent, and I feel like if we're gonna criticize all these billionaires, we talk about the Koch brothers, George Soros, depending on what side you are, but like why are we not criticizing these very people who make millions and millions of dollars and then kind of like, oh no, we need socialism, like, oh no,
it's free market, my friend.
Yeah, I just feel like these, and when I say these people, I just mean like anybody who's worth over $1 million. Like Cardi B and people like that are happy to criticize the free market and all these places, but we should criticize them. They're making so much money. Ugh.
Well,
I think I had a good point eventually. I don't know if I was getting there. I might have been lost.
You did have a good point. I'll tie it up with a nice little bow. Is when people who are making all this money start to realize how much is going to the government and how much is being spent on things that are not necessary, that's when we're going to start to make progress as far as tax reform and free market and small government reform.
And I hate hipsters and I hate Bonnaroo and I hate everything about it.
And I love Bonnaroo and I love music festivals.
You can tell by her glasses she likes hipsters.
Coffee.
Yeah.
And Mark and I disagree on a few things, agree on a few things, but we want to know more than anything what you think. So let us know. Hit us up on Facebook, email, Twitter, Instagram, all the platforms, and let us know what you think.
You can fax me if you want.
You can fax Mark. He is an old man. But we want to know what you think about all of these topics. Thank you so much for listening.
And come to Make Ready. It's an awesome place.
Come to Make Ready, and we'll see you next week.